So I just want to point out to you that there's a gentleman named Salah over here on the other side of the tent who is holding up a sign that says there's 2.75 million Muslims in America. Have you ever met one? He's here for you to meet. So if you have never met a Muslim before, please feel free. There are some Muslims over here who would love to chat with you.
Same day. Same day.
Our next speaker served for over 20 years as the president of the Rhode Island Alliance for Lesbian and Gay Civil Rights and former board chair of Marriage Equality Rhode Island. Please give a warm welcome to longtime LGBTQ activist Kate Montero. Hello, Rhode Island! Are you fired up? What are you? Are you ready to go? Rise up. It's been a heck of a couple of months, hasn't it been? 2 months ago, we were standing up there. 2 months ago, we were saying to ourselves, the onslaught is coming. What is going to happen to us? What has happened to us? Have we rolled over? No. Have we given up? No. Have we organized? Yes. Have we fought? Yes. And are we winning? Yes. It is a long struggle, ladies and gentlemen. We are 4% towards 2020. 4% of the Trump years are gone. And how are you feeling about how we're going to take back the presidency in 4 years? Fired up and ready to go. We were warned, we were explained or mansplained, and nevertheless we persist and we win. This is a very long struggle, ladies and gentlemen. But we are not afraid of long struggles, are we? It took 100 years for women to get the vote in the United States. It took 300 years for African Americans to get the vote in the United States. But we stand on sacred ground here. It is sacred for the freedom of religion. It is sacred for the LGBT community of the state of Rhode Island, because this is where we came from, that old state house. That old state house, which, by the way, is where Catholics were granted the right to vote in the state of Rhode Island in 1790. Did you know for 100 years in this cradle of freedom of religion, Catholics were not allowed to vote because they were foreign, because they had a scary religion, and because people thought they would be the detriment of our society. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Yeah. Just as Catholics vote in Rhode Island, and we'll get to that in a second, we need to protect, we need to hold up, we need to cherish the diversity of this state. And when the LGBT community came here in 1976, we came here without the right to marry. We came here without the right to hold a job, to hold credit, to stay in our houses. We came here without the right to kiss or hold hands, without the right to dance. We came here without the right to exist. And we persisted and we won. From this space, we changed Rhode Island, and we changed this country, and we changed this world. And so you know that this ground births strong, persistent resistance. And that is what we are all here to do today. I represent the LGBT community today. I am honored, but you are all part of our LGBTQ community. All of you, no matter how you identify, are us. I come here as a woman. I come here as a Democrat. You are not all Democrats, I recognize that. I don't care. I want you to go to that State House and make sure that women, and I prefer women with a D next to their name, or an I next to their name, but women have voice up there. We lost a woman's voice in leadership this week in that State House. There is a woman by the name of Dawn Oyer who is running for that seat. I want you to look her up. I want you to talk to her. I want you to donate to her. And I want you to make sure that Dawn Oyer is in that State House. There are others in this community, many others in this community, who make a huge difference. And I am going to take a point of gay privilege, because we don't have too many gay privileges in this country. But I am going to take one and introduce to you one of the strongest, hardest, most vocal voices for your rights, for our rights, for this resistance in Washington, D.C. He rises up, he fights back, and God love him, he persists. Please, David Cicilline, can you come up?
Hey, Congressman.
Rhode Island, never forget, you are the majority.
Thank you very much, Kate. I just want to say thank you. Yesterday we saw for the second big time the power of the people in this country. The first example was the Republicans tried to gut the House Ethics Office. And they did it in the dark of night. They were about to do it on the floor. And once the American people learned about it, they were enraged and they let their voices be heard, and they were forced to reverse course. Yesterday was the culmination of the same effort. They were set to repeal the Affordable Care Act, to remove 24 million people from health care, to defund Planned Parenthood, to allow an age tax to be imposed, and on and on and on. A terrible piece of legislation. What happened? People all across this country, all across Rhode Island, demanded that their voices be heard. They called, they wrote, they visited, they demanded that members of Congress not pass that bill, and they were forced to withdraw it. So I'm here to say thank you for what you're doing. You know, I think before the election of Donald Trump, we all sort of lived in a country where we thought, for the most part, our democracy was self-executing. You had to work a little bit on a campaign of somebody you like, maybe give somebody money, but essentially it sort of functioned on its own and produced okay results. The election of Donald Trump completely changed that. I think people recognize now that this is a democracy that that we have to be willing to fight for in order to keep it and to stay actively engaged in all the issues that are important to all of us. So I'm here to say thank you, keep up the fight, keep up the resistance.
Thank you.